Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Welcome to the GSMC social media podcast, brought to you by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ariane, and I am here joined with Heidi.
Hello.
Today, we are going to begin our show by talking about Kanye's rant on SNL. He got booed. It was ridiculously long. Oh my gosh, I have so many words on this one.
Classic Kanye.
Oh, it always is.
It always
too.
is.
It's like it's not even a surprise anymore.
Nope.
It's just like, what's he gonna do next?
Right.
You
I mean,
know?
I feel like if he likes Trump, him and Trump have similar public types of events.
Right.
We're like, oh, what are they going to say next?
Join each other there, talk about stuff, but you don't really have to drag other people into what you believe or what you think is right.
Yep. Dragging in all our news feeds.
And that's all it is. It's like scrolling,
Yep.
trying to find something other than Kanye or Trump or anything else. So he was on SNL, and it was actually towards the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
Where he went on this rant, and he called the whole cast of SNL up on stage with him. So it was SNL. Let me give you guys a little quick thing about SNL is the cast is not allowed to leave the building until the show is over. So he went on, I think they said until like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, just going off on stage. The cast members had to stay up there with him. They couldn't really leave.
So Kanye was the musical guest for that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who the host was.
I think it was Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Yeah, right. Yeah. So he went on a rant talking about, how he was wearing the MAGA hat backstage, and he was trying to say
the Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Right. The red hat. Yeah. Okay.
And he was like, everybody backstage was telling me not to go on and not to wear this and bullying me and telling me I'm just not smart for going out on stage or for going out on stage with this hat on. He even made a point to where he took it off and he was like, I'm not going to let them bully me. I'm going to put my Superman cape on and put the hat back on.
Oh.
Like as that kind of gesture. I was like, you are so weird.
Yeah.
So
well,
that
Kanye,
gives you confidence?
Yeah.
Like,
well, he'll often say like how he was diagnosed like bipolar, and he says like that's not a disability, that's a superpower.
Yeah.
So I feel like he just brings a lot of like the things that I get put down for become my superpowers,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then he went on to talk about how he feels like he went into a little bit of an explanation about why he feels like the 13th Amendment should be overturned. Now, okay, so I understand I watched an interview with him on Jimmy Kimmel, and after hearing his explanation, now don't get me wrong, okay, I think Kanye he has a few screws loose. I mean, I don't agree with everything he says, but listening to his explanation as far as why he wanted to overturn the 13th Amendment was because I guess in the 13th Amendment, it's the amendment that abolished slavery, but in it said it does not apply to people who are incarcerated, so prison inmates. And that's the area where he was trying to explain to where he feels like that part needs to be overturned. Not the whole 13th Amendment in general, just that part.
So then if the 13th Amendment isn't applying to those who are incarcerated, is he trying to say that means that if you're in jail,
that you're treated like a slave.
treated like a slave.
Exactly.
Okay, so he wants to change that.
Exactly. And, make it more humanitarian, I guess, because the prison systems here are so ridiculous with how the inmates are treated, depending on where you're at, I guess.
Right.
But I hear
Depends on
America has the worst prison systems ever, like throughout the world. So they're ranked pretty low. But he went on that. I just feel like Kanye, he might have good like intentions or really feels like he means the best, but he has the worst way of delivering his messages out to the media or the world or his followers or anything. He just, so like with the 13th Amendment thing, he went on Twitter and he was like, all he said was the 13th Amendment needs to be overturned. That's it. And it's like, Kate, you are giving the completely wrong impression when you just say that specific part.
Right, especially for someone who produces like music and like an artistic form of communication.
Right.
That's weird to be like a musical artist where you're communicating all the time.
Exactly.
And then not be able to do that in other ways, like speaking and things like that. And especially like, since music is verbal. It's not like you're a visual artist.
Yeah.
It's verbal.
And apparently he talks about a lot of this stuff in his new album that it's supposed to come out. I don't know when. I don't really follow.
I mean,
Kanye
it was
like
supposed to come out.
Right, but it got
and then
pushed
it didn't.
back.
Yeah. He said he wants it to come out on Black Friday.
Oh my gosh. What is the motive behind that? I feel like I need to know what his like chess moves are.
I mean, if I had that kind of power, you know, if I knew that many people were listening to me, I might flex it sometimes.
Exactly. But he just has a horrible way, you know, just tweeting that, and I understand that you're allowed only a certain number of characters but we spoke on another show, I think it was either social media one where Twitter gives you the option to do audio only. So do the audio only, explain yourself a little bit more in depth, and then move on. Okay. Right. And then, but you know, even just the picture of himself, like I think he was on a plane and he had the MAGA hat on and he was just there, and I think that was the same tweet actually, but even the visual itself is like, my guy, what are you doing? Right.
So when he was on the Saturday Night Live show and he was doing his rant, how long was his rant?
It was so I think SNL it starts at like 9 or 10.
Yeah, it goes late.
Yeah, and they said that they were still there around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, just listening to him go off on his rant on random topics too, because I watched a news interview where they were like, it wasn't a rant, he was trying to inform people, and the one guy was like, no, it was a rant, because he kept jumping around talking about different topics. Like he was talking about love, being bullied, his support for Trump and some of those ideas, the amendments. He just kept going everywhere. So it's like, no, it was a rant.
I'm surprised they didn't cut him off.
Yeah, well, they did for the show, but like when it was aired.
Oh, so they ended it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they ended the show on air, like, you know, the recording, but he kept going on with the audience, the live audience, and the cast members, and they just really had to just sit there and kind of.
So the audience just had to stay there and listen to him?
So that's one thing. I don't know if the audience was able to get up and leave, but I know the cast has to stay there.
Well, if the audience was booing him, I wouldn't be surprised if they got up and left.
Exactly. And then he even liked it. He went on Jimmy Kimmel and I watched it, and he was just like, I like it when people are mad at me. Yeah, I like it when they hate me. I'm like, dude, okay, I understand that might give you a little bit of a drive, but do you understand what they don't like you for? Right. It's like you're so contradictory when you say, you know, Bush doesn't care about black people, but Donald Trump is over here being real bold about it and vocal, and you just
I feel like he kind of likes Trump, not necessarily for all of his politics. Like, I would be surprised if Kanye knew all of Trump's politics. I feel like he kind of likes him because he feels like Trump also has all these like haters, you know, and he's like, oh, I'm like that too, and I like it. I feel like he just kind of connects on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand you want to sit there and be like, oh, my haters drive me, all this stuff, but you're talking like there's young kids that listen to you, you know what I mean? I mean, what's the impression you're giving them, especially, you know, in the world right now? There was somebody asked him, why do you like Trump? Like, he's a racist. Like, and he said his response to that was, if I was worried about racism, I would have left this country a long time ago. And I was like thinking that, I was like, okay, but until it actually affects you, because you have lots of money, you can dodge all this stuff. Like, what if something happened to like your kids out on the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then it would hit you hard. Then how would you feel?
Right.
You
Or
know what I
like
mean?
all of his fans, you know, or
Exactly.
people who listen to his music.
Right. And crazy Kanye. I don't understand this man at all. I don't really want to, because I feel like there's so much going on in his head that is like, I'm just gonna just start saying stuff and
Yeah.
staying.
Well, he did say, I think he said that he was off his meds,
yeah,
which makes sense. And I don't know if he wants to not be on them or be on them. You know, like I feel like
Right.
that's part of being bipolar. But yeah, that's
he
rough.
needs to be. He needs to be. I don't know. I think that when he was talking about like spreading love and doing things in different ways, and you know, fight him like kind of like a kill him with kindness kind of thing. He is trying to recognize in himself like, oh, I can control myself like this and this and this. I don't need the medications. But,
okay.
You know, so trying to just go about it that way without having to just pop the, you know, prescription pills or whatever he's been given. But I don't know, this dude, he just irks me a little bit.
I mean, I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying because he's so in the media all the time, which I feel like it's somewhat of a strategy too, because he always goes off talking about random things when he is about to have an album drop, or he wants to be in when he's about to have his album drop or something like that. So
a publicity stunt.
yeah, exactly. When he was asked about that too, he's like, is this just a publicity stunt where you just want to say all this off the wall stuff? And he was like, no, I really believe this. And I was like, do you really though? Come on, man. Like, you have kids, and how are you not worried about them, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's hard. Listening to him is hard because you want to kind of be like, I want to empathize with you, but at the same time, no, because you're crazy. You just sound crazy. So
right. Yeah.
I don't
He
know.
He doesn't make himself, I guess, he doesn't help himself. You know, he's not doing any favors for his message to be well received.
Oh yeah. And I feel like if he really in his heart really feels like he believes certain things, then he needs to find a better way to articulate his ideas or messages so people understand. You know what I mean? Instead of just, overturn the 13th Amendment. Leave it at that. No, like, you can't say stuff like that and not expect people to be like, man.
Yeah, people just to hate you.
Exactly. Oh man, I can go on all day about Kanye. We're gonna go ahead and take
we can do the whole
break.
show.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back with more social media news.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. We were just recently talking about Kanye West, and we're going to move on with the Wests. Kim Kardashian decided to post an interesting picture on her IG of her, and she called it a vintage bathing suit. It was a black one, and it kind of just had like round circles around the nipple area and then strings everywhere. Like string just holding it together.
How is that vintage? Like
Great
you just took,
question.
You just took like old fabric and cut it up.
Yeah,
like
you
I don't
can call that vintage. I don't know where she would have dug it out of, because
right. That's someone else was not wearing that on the beach in the past.
No, I don't feel like anybody was, because vintage bathing suits covered a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
wow.
But
did her child take that photo for her Instagram?
I mean, she might be one of those parents.
She has a photo of her kid taking a picture of her on Instagram.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh
it's like
my
one of those
gosh.
like mirror bathroom shots. So
Yeah.
you can see the person taking the photo, and
Yeah.
it's like her kid. Yeah.
What? Oh my god.
She said her kid's really good at taking the photos.
No. know, set it on a stand and do the timer like everybody else.
They gotta work like everyone else does for those Instagram posts.
Oh my gosh, bend in awkward positions or something. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, she took this picture. People were coming at her pretty bad because they were like, lady, like, you have 3 kids. You do realize they're going to see these photos in the future. And you're just, you know, just nonchalant, just showing everything, leaving 0 to the imagination. And this kind of makes me mad too, because how she goes and posts these pictures, but Kanye West wants to sit over there and be like, don't talk about my wife.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is talking about his wife. All the time.
So, but I feel like the people who did talk about his wife, they didn't do it in any disrespectful manner. They were speaking about her, about their relationship with her.
Their past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what do you think people are going to say when they see her, a mother of 3, you know what I mean? And she's posting these like risque pictures on, not that, you know, they're not really risque to her because she's done.
Right. There's a lot out there.
Exactly. So, but I feel like he can't really get mad because she does stuff like this.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I wonder if he ever talks to her about that. You know, I wonder what their relationship is regarding that, because if he doesn't want people talking, I mean, people are looking.
Exactly.
For sure.
For sure they are. Yeah. Well, I think I remember seeing something about that where he encourages her to show off what she has.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that he kind of likes it that people are like, oh, his wife's got a big old booty, or, you know, she's has a slim waist or something like that.
I mean, he does talk about that a little bit in his songs.
Yeah.
So
I think he kind of likes getting that attention too. Well, with him being like bipolar, I mean, I feel like he likes the attention in any way he can get.
Right. I feel like he likes the attention, but then also sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
Like he was saying, like he doesn't want some of his tweets to show like all the followers. So it's like,
but
you
it's
want
like,
it, you don't.
You are who you are. You're in, you know, the spotlight. You can't, you know, hide everything.
Right.
But I just have mixed feelings, because it's like, yeah, you might be a really pretty person, you know, and you have like an amazing body or whatever, but you're a mom and you're posting these things.
Right. I mean, Kim's never been shy. She has a reality show.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, did you hear how she made, one of her sisters made a comment about her waist looking anorexic, and she took that as a compliment? And
what?
Yeah.
Was that on her show?
I don't know if it was on the show. I don't follow their show.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either, but
yeah, I just kept seeing everywhere that how she was going on apologizing for a comment that was sensitive to
like eating disorders
and health like that. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I was like, that's not
good.
Right.
No.
And
that's also not good for, it's probably not good for her, because I know we've talked about like eating disorders before on the Health and Wellness podcast.
Exactly.
To like have your parent be so obsessed with their body and be posting all that, like that probably puts a lot of pressure on her kids. Not that I'm trying to say Kim Kardashian is a bad person.
No, yeah.
You know, I don't know her, obviously, but you know, like that probably does put some pressure on your kids.
Exactly. And what is would they have, like 2 boys or 2 girls and 1 boy?
I think 2 girls and a boy. I'm not sure.
Right. Either way, it's like if your husband was having, you know, self-esteem issues, and I feel like she has to too, or she wouldn't be just posting a bunch of naked pictures of herself or almost naked pictures of herself. Then I wonder what her kids are gonna grow up.
Yeah. I mean, thinking, you know? I hope they don't. You know, like I hope that Kim and Kanye have high self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, because they should, but.
You never know.
You never know.
In the spotlight, like look what happened to Robin Williams. He felt like, you know,
all the stress of it.
Exactly. So I don't know. The West family, they'll always be in the news for something.
They will always.
So it's like it's weird because you can't go 1 week without having
one or
the other.
We can't.
Yeah,
we really can't.
So maybe after his album drops and they, you know, disappear for a while, that I don't know if that'll happen. I mean, I wouldn't mind.
A nice break.
I could do without. Exactly. Oh, man. But let's move on to our next topic, which I thought was pretty cool. Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders, independent from Vermont. I'm pretty sure it's Vermont. He is really pushing hard for minimum wage. He's always been really pushing hard for minimum wage being $15 an hour. In a lot of places, and he kind of helped because he went around and talking about that and was like tweeting about it. He does a lot of stuff to promote that. Amazon decided, because I feel like I'm pretty sure he went directly at Amazon and was like, your employees don't make a livable wage. The warehouses are apparently not. They're just what is it? They're hostile environments for people to work in.
Okay, they're not safe.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. And he's like, at least give them something to show up for work for, you know what I mean? Not just, $7.25 or whatever it was. In the U.S., Amazon raised their minimum wage to $15 an hour. For all their employees, full-time, part-time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did they have different minimum wages based on different states, like the different state minimum wage, and then they universally made it 15?
I think it was a general thing.
Okay.
Like across the board thing. But the thing that's kind of sad about even though they go to $15 an hour, they took away their monthly bonuses, and I think it was one other package. I don't want to say it was health or something, but like incentives. So it's like, we're paying you $15 an hour. You don't get monthly bonuses anymore because, that's, pick one or the other. I'm like, that's what? That's
not cool.
No,
that's
no.
not good. And if Bernie wanted that, I wonder if I'm sure he's thought about it, like if you raise the minimum wage, would other incentives be taken away?
Right.
I wonder if that was like something he talked to Amazon about and tried to convince them not to do.
Right.
I wouldn't imagine Bernie would want them to take away incentives.
No, not at all. Right. And I think he was, in his mind, he's just like, no, just raise minimum wage and everybody, will be fine.
Right.
But
Leave everything else the same way.
But Amazon's like, no, well, we hear what you guys are saying, because it wasn't just Bernie, because after Bernie went at Amazon, then a lot of people were like, yeah, this is horrible. You guys need to help them out. Their families and stuff like this. And so they were like, okay, well, we hear you guys. We'll up it, but we're going to take away this.
Wow.
And Amazon, good on you for raising it, but I don't know how much their monthly bonuses or whatever helped them. You know what I mean?
Amazon is a big company, it's hard for me to imagine that would be impossible for them to do.
Right.
They're not like a small business.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, they're large. Well, this happened actually on Tuesday.
Oh.
So, yeah, this past Tuesday. And after that happened, Bernie Sanders tweeted on his... he just went and tweeted on his Twitter page. That just sounds super redundant.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. He tweeted, what Amazon is doing is enormously important to its employees. It could be the shot heard around the world, and urges other corporate leaders to follow suit. So Amazon kind of responded to that and was like, we're excited about it. We hope others will join in raising their minimum wage also. So there's still, I like that Amazon is promoting it for other bigger companies. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Walmart and places like that should be able to do that too. But don't be taking away bonuses and stuff. That's like...
Well, hopefully, increasing the minimum wage gives everyone a livable wage.
Yeah.
Like I feel like as long as they're at least, raising it where it's livable, then that's what they should be doing.
Exactly. And then a bonus once a month or maybe each quarter is just what it is. It's a bonus,
right?
You know what I mean? So like high five on that. But I really like that Bernie Sanders has that momentum to be doing that, even though he lost in a couple years ago.
Well, it's still good for him.
So I thought that was a pretty cool thing, because I worked in a warehouse. My pay was a lot better than that.
Yeah.
So seeing like warehouse workers pay, even here in California, I'm like $10 an hour.
Yeah.
What?
No, that's not livable.
Yeah. No.
For hard work.
Exactly. And warehouse work is physical labor, general labor. You know what I mean? You're actually doing stuff that's, and when I see that, and I'm just like, oh, I would never for $10 an hour. No, because I was making decent money working in a warehouse before I moved to California, and I was just like, what? How do you people live on this? So I don't know. 15 is pretty good though. 15 is decent, starter off for a warehouse job.
Yeah.
But I like that they're also trying to get other companies
Right.
to
Yeah,
do that.
that's a good
So,
story. I'm glad.
Yeah. Good job, Bernie, and Amazon to you guys too, because I watch Amazon Prime. I like all that stuff, but I don't think that
We want to support you, and now we feel better about
exactly.
it.
I don't want to watch something on Amazon and be like, oh, you guys don't even pay your employees, but I'm gonna go watch Victoria or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take one more quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. We just recently talked about Bernie Sanders helping raise the minimum wage in Amazon. So I want to go ahead and move on to another large company that's no longer in business, Toys R Us. I heard on the radio, so I did a little bit of research, that they're trying to make a comeback.
Oh, Toys R Us.
Yeah.
The giraffe.
Right?
He's coming back.
Jeffrey.
Yep.
Yeah. And everybody knows the song, I don't want to grow up. I'm not a singer, but
Yeah.
I have that
I'm a
song
Toys R Us kid, so.
always. So Toys R Us was going to hold a bankruptcy auction, I guess, for their property and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they canceled that auction, and they are trying to retain the intellectual property, meaning the idea behind Toys R Us and Babies R Us. They want to keep that because they are trying to revamp their business structure to keep up with the times. I feel like they kind of went out of business because you can buy the same toys online super cheap.
Mm-hmm. And not have to go to the store.
Exactly. Gets
Not have to
delivered
drag your kid to
front
the
door,
store.
right? And hear them say, I want that. I
Yep.
want this. How come this? So I think that this will be good for them because Toys R Us left a lot of their employees hanging when they...
Yeah. It's a lot of people.
Yeah. And I also thought what was pretty cool was they have private equity backers that have created a $20 million fund to distribute to the previous, 33,000 employees they had.
Oh, wow.
For a severance pay.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. So
Did they not? I guess they didn't do that
I
before.
know.
But
Yeah. They kind of just were like, we're going out of
Oh,
business and
yeah,
sent
sorry,
everybody
guys.
off. Yeah.
Kick Jeffrey out with nothing.
I know. Well, I feel like he would have got something.
Oh,
He's
got
like
something.
the face, but
Yeah.
the other employees,
He's
right?
the face of the company.
Yeah, they were left with not much. So I'm like, go ahead. Like you guys are really trying to make it right and stay up with the times. So
Does that mean they're going to open more stores, or are they just going to like keep up with the times by like doing online sales or something? Because if they're
Yeah.
keeping their intellectual property, are they going to use that to make more like newer Toys R Us stores?
I think they're trying to develop more online to keep up with the times. Not so much like physical locations.
Okay.
Because they said that their plan is to expand on its international presence and develop private brand business. So I don't know what private brand business means too much. I could go look that up, but I don't feel like. But expanding on an international level I think is pretty cool because
Interesting.
you can buy anything online from anywhere.
I feel like though going into an international market, you're going into a very flooded market.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because there's tons of toy makers out there, and like Toys R Us is already getting their toys from China.
Right.
If they're trying to just go out and then get the Chinese market, I don't know how that would work for
that's
them.
what I was thinking too, because with all the tariffs and stuff like that that are put on China, since they are getting all their stuff there, they might as well like make their home base out there, and then if they're online shoppers or whatever, then they can deal with the shipping and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, if they don't have to deal with the shipping costs to the U.S. for a store.
Right. So,
okay.
That's kind of what I thought when I was reading the story. But
right. Well, good for them for paying their workers that. Yeah. I mean, they should.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm glad they are, because they should.
I would be so mad if a company I was working for was just like, oh, we're going out of business, so you got to go.
Yeah,
and
good luck.
You don't have anything. I know, what was it? Hostess did that to their employees.
Oh, when they shut down? Oh.
Yeah, in Utah. I think it was just in Utah where I live.
Oh,
where
really?
I'm from. Yeah. And a lot of the Hostess people came to work in the warehouse I was working at out there. And they were like, no, we didn't get it. They cut off, claimed bankruptcy. They didn't get severance packages for the people in Utah. Wasn't Hostess a world national thing, though?
But I know they didn't, I don't think they completely shut down, but
certain
a
warehouses.
bunch of stuff got like pulled back.
Right.
Because there's the whole thing like save the Twinkie.
Yeah, I know. I don't even like Twinkies.
I know. People fought for it.
They did. Like Black Friday fought for them. I'm like, what is wrong with
like a TV.
Yeah, go make your own. So eat a cookie.
Right, exactly. There are other options that are better.
Exactly. But yeah, I like that Toys R Us is coming back. Toys R Us and Babies R Us.
Oh, good.
So it's not just the one. I liked shopping at Babies R Us when my kids were little, because they had super cute stuff, and you don't want to go by like fall apart Kmart stuff.
Right. I do remember shopping there for like baby showers and stuff.
Yeah, that's where they got lots of their business was for them. As my kids got a little bit older, I didn't shop at Toys R Us.
Oh, you didn't do the Toys R Us? No. Toys R Us was fun as a kid, though, because it was like a huge building, and you were just like overwhelmed by like the stacks of toys and everything.
Exactly.
And you could ride some bikes in the aisles. And
I think that's all people did, though, too, would
just wander.
Exactly, and not buy anything. But their prices were high. I'm not even going to lie. I'm like, I can find this same toy at Walmart for $10 cheaper. You know?
Toys R Us just had like I guess they saved what made them well known was the intellectual property,
right?
Like we know the jingle, we know the mascot,
exactly.
So I'm glad they saved that, because that's what kept them afloat for sure.
Exactly. So that story just was kind of, if anybody likes to shop at Toys R Us,
right,
or Babies R Us, keep a lookout, because they'll be coming back.
Yeah, that's good. Coming back online. That's good.
Exactly. So that is actually all we had to talk about today on this show. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us again on GSMC Social Media News.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.